Namo Buddhaya. A very good morning to all the brothers and sisters in Dhammas. Suki Hontu. It's great that I see so many of you joining us so early at 9:15 a.m. To those of you who are joining us for the very first time, just would like to let you know that the online team, which will have a refreshing opening video to our online Dhamma events. And this segment, we call it the Voices of Blooms. And in this segment, we are featuring talented songs, talented singers, and Buddhist groups. And these groups will be introduced. They will tell us about themselves or the group, or about the song, their inspirations, or the groups they are involved in. This segment will also be able to publicize Buddhist songs as wide as possible. This serves as an encouragement to talented Buddhists to use Buddhist songs to promote Dhamma. Later we will play one of the songs. We would like you to sing along, feel it. And today I would like to introduce to you Sister Pauline Lu, who is in the group called Buddy Sings. Hi, good morning, Pauline Lu.
Hi, good morning, Brother Chuan.
Yes, I'm very, very happy that you are able to join us in this segment called Voices of Blooms. To start off with, why don't you introduce yourself, and you also continue to tell us how did you got involved in singing or joining a group. Over to you.
Yes, sure, of course, Brother Chan. So my name is Pauline, as you know, and I am the leader and also the lead vocalist or lead singer of Buddy Sings. So how I got into performing music, actually since young, I love music. I've been learning piano since at the age of, I think, 4 or 5. Yeah, but singing was something like just a hobby that I used to, sing in the shower. Is what we normally do. Yeah. So in university, it started off as a joke actually. We were having an event in university, and there was an open mic session. So I decided to, hey, why not just give it a shot? So I got on stage and did one of songs, the Disney song that I did. And just coincidentally, the one playing the piano accompanying my singing is actually the president of the university's music club. So he was the one who, in a way, discovered me and said, hey, I think that you sing quite well and you have some stage presence, I think you will be really good to get into performing. So I was actually quite skeptical. I'm like, can or not? I wasn't sure. So, but in the end, I gave it a shot. So I joined the club, and that was how it started, that I started to build my confidence and perform in front of stage, in front of many people, in front of, big concerts and all that held in university. So that's where I first started. And then how I got into Buddy Sings, then, it's something that I would like to do even after I graduated from university. So by joining Buddy Sings together, it gives me an opportunity and a platform to continue doing what I love to do.
Oh, yes. Pauline, you just reminded me that a star is born when we are singing in the bathroom. I used to do that. I'm waiting for my chance then. So, Pauline, you are the leader of this band. Could you give us a brief idea of who Buddy Sings is? Then maybe add more to tell us about the Buddy Sings.
Yes, yes, sure, of course. So Buddy Sings is a very young Malaysian Buddhist music group or a band. So what we aim to do is to create relatable and youth-appealing music to connect youths and people all around, and of course to spread Dhamma values. So in our band, we currently have 6 members. So our age ranges from 18 to 24 years old. So in which you will get to know more of us in the upcoming weeks. So what we do is that we compose Buddhist songs using modern techniques. And we also love to bring in fresh perspectives towards older Buddhist songs, songs like from Wayfarers or the earlier albums of iGems, right? And currently we are in the midst of working on an EP. EP is a smaller version of a full album. So we are recording 6 of our original songs professionally in a studio.
Oh, so this is really a young group of Buddhist songs. Congratulations to this young group. So what you are mentioning sounds interesting. So why did you decide to do this?
So I have been exposed to Dhamma school at a very young age. At 7 years old, my parents enrolled me into BUBS, Banda Utama Buddhist Society. So while attending class there every week, I remember every week before the class starts, all the students from Dhamma school will gather together and we will sing Buddhist hymns together, like Ehipasiko, Anthem of Unity, all these songs, and it brings so much nice memories. So throughout the years, I've been very active in the Buddhist youth circle in terms of events and camps and all that. And as I got older, I realized that that there is a gap between the older Buddhist songs and also the current pop songs that we teenagers and youth we like to listen to, because there is a lack in new modern Buddhist songs being produced. So, as Buddha taught us, nothing stays the same forever. Everything is impermanent. So everything around us is constantly changing. So we have to learn to adapt as well. And music is always evolving. So I believe that, Buddhist music should follow the trend as well, so that we can relate to more people, especially towards the younger age group.
Wow, just now you mentioned a song, Ehipasiko. That was my first Buddhist song that I enjoy so much. I will sing it in the bathroom. Because it's easy to sing and it's very encouraging. And I like to play or encourage the children at the Sunday Dhamma school to sing this song, Ehipasiko, and they just love it because the tune is very nice. Well, can we also like to know how did Body Sing start?
Yes, yes, of course. How did Body Sing start? It started in 2018, because actually how the band members got to know each other is we knew each other from Badi. Badi stands for Banda Utama Dhamma Duta Youth. So Badi is the youth section of BUBS. So in Badi, every year, if you are in the camp, the committee, so every year we will be organizing Badi camp, we call that, for teenagers aged 13 to 17. So in that year itself, some of us in the band, we are in the committee, and there was a suggestion to create our own camp song. So that was really interesting because we never had that before, and wow, to have our own camp song, that would be a first. So one of our actually founders, Robin, so he first came up with the music idea. Then eventually he called Calvin and I, again, two of us in the band as well, to help him complete the song. And after that, we actually produced our own demo of the song. Then after that, Madeline and Deborah, which is now two of our members, then joined us bringing in their own talents. Like Deborah plays the violin, Madeline plays the cajon. So they brought their own talents into the group. Then after that, in the camp, we performed our song. The participants, sang the song together, and it was very well received, and the participants loved it. So we thought, you know what? Hey, we kind of have a knack in this, so we decided to, continue to compose more songs. And we had the motivation and the inspiration going. So then we decided, let's start Buddy Sings, and we've been doing that ever since, which led us to where we are today.
Wow, that is a very wonderful story that you just told us about Buddy Sings. And I also noticed that all of you are very talented. You play your own music, own musical instrument. Isn't it fantastic? This is definitely awesome. We'll definitely have to follow you all on Facebook, Instagram, and catch up on your latest song. As a first introduction to many of our audience, our members out there, which song would you like to share?
Yes, definitely. We would like to share one of our original songs called Nothing Stays the Same Forever. This song is also part of the Tuesday segment that we have in our social media as well. You can find us. Tuesday segments are the segments where we try to do covers of older Buddhist songs, and we put our own fresh perspective to it, to arrange the songs based on our own creativity and using modern techniques and instruments. So through this, having this Tuesday segment, it helps us to grow our views, so that the audience and our fans can watch us grow throughout the years. So this song, Nothing Stays the Same Forever, is one of the earliest songs that we actually released to the public. And this song is also one of the 6 songs that will be in our upcoming EP. And the special thing about this song is that it features a rap part, which is our way to bring in a new music style into Buddhist music. So we also hope that this song can serve as a reminder for everyone during this pandemic to stay healthy and positive, because nothing stays the same forever. And yes, after listening to our song, and if any of the viewers out there would like to support us, you can visit our website at buddysings.com, buddysings.com, or like and share any of our songs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Brothers and sisters out there, you heard what Pauline Lu of Buddy Sings mentioned to all of us. They are being very innovative. They are promoting the Dhamma to their own way. They are attracting the youth. Isn't it wonderful? So, if you want to know more, visit their website. Take the songs, and then you will understand. So, right now, after this, we're going to play a song for you to enjoy and to learn more about Buddy Sings.
Hey, we are Buddy Sings from Bandar Utama Buddhist Society, and this is Nothing Stays the Same Forever.
Nothing stays the same forever. Lives can be something better. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Endings will be new beginnings. There's a time and place for everything. You need to know. Truth is, we live in this world where space and time rules our very universe. There'll be all kinds of moments on this train of life that never turns back. All the sceneries before our eyes will never be the same when we meet again. Oh, you know nothing stays the same forever. Our lives can be something better. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Endings will be new beginnings. There's a time and place for everything. You need to know.
Yeah, it's called impermanence. The cycle of rebirth, it's a part of our lives. So you gotta be prepared. You see, the world goes round in the circle of life, where life and death happens to things we care about. Change can be scary, but don't be afraid, as it gives us freedom. It's the wonder of our lives. So embrace your life, accept the changes. With the changes, make the world a better place.
Nothing stays forever. Stays forever.
Once you understand this, I think you're ready. So come hold my hand and together we will sing.
Nothing stays the same forever. Our lives can be so much better. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Endings will be new beginnings. There's a time and place for everything. You need to know. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh.
Come on,
Whoa, oh, oh, oh.
let's go.
Yeah. Nothing stays the same forever. Our lives can be so much better. Oh, 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 oh.
All these changes,
Yeah.
it'll happen.
Endings will be new beginnings. There's a time and place for everything. You
Yeah.
need to know.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Good morning to everyone. It's a great day. Happy to see all of you on another Sunday Buddha Puja service. And we are on our Facebook Live. Well done to those who had logged in at the 9:15 a.m. this morning. Hope you have enjoyed the beautiful Dhamma songs and learning so much of our Buddhist youth today. What the youth can do as influences to the societies. To those who did not join us earlier, please join us whenever we announce on the Voices of Bloom, that is at 9:15 a.m. So I would like to remind everyone that during the online Buddha Puja service, remember to have a calm mind, stay calm, and then focus on the puja. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome to SJBA 43rd online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We organize this weekly online Puja service in order to give an opportunity to Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices and listen to the Dhamma sharing during this pandemic. Let us prepare ourselves and sitting comfortably, relax our bodies and compose our mind, let go of thinking of the past and future and be in the present moment. Like to, from here, like to invite, before we invite, just to mention that we are going to prepare the light offerings, a lamp, and then you join in. So for those who The rest of you, please put your hand palms in Anjali. All right. I'd like to invite the brother Chim to make the offerings. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa. 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 Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let's pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Brothers and sisters, let us take the refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammāsambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Panchasila. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musāvāda Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majjapamadathana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddhan nasati. Iti piso bhagava arahang sammasambuddho Vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati Swakato bhagavata dhammo sandidiko akaliko ehipasiko opanaiko pacatang veritabo vinyuhidi Supatipano bhagavato savaka sangho Tujapatipano bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipano bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipano bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidam chattari purisa yugani Ata purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punya ketang lokasadi Vandami cetiyang sabang sabatane supatititang Saririka dhatu mahabodhing Buddha rupang sakalang sadang Yasamule nisennova sabbari vijayang aka Pato sabbang nyutang satha vande tang bodhiparapang Ime te mahabodhi lokanyatena pujita Aham pite namassami bodhipuraja namatute Offering of lights Gana sarapatitena dipena tamadansina Diloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami thamonudang Dupa puja Ganda sabbara yuttena dupena hang sugantina Pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana bhuttamang Offering of flowers Vanna ganda guno petang etang kusuma sandating Pujayami munindasa siripada saroruhe Puje mi buddhang kusumena nena Munnena metena cha hotu mokkang Pupang milayati yatha idang me Kayo tathayati vinasa bhavang Offerings of water Adivase tu no bante padiyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigang hatu muttamang kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang Aktsayang kamame bande buripanya tathagata Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang Akchayang kamame dhamma sandidika akarika Kayena vacha chitena pamadena maya gatang Akchayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let your hand over.
Dhamma. Good morning. This morning, we are very pleased to have a brother Tan Siang Chye to be with us to give a Dhamma talk with the title, The Buddha's Advice for leading a harmonious layman's life. Brother Siang Chye is the lay Dhamma advisor of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association. He began his formal Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute Sanidhamma School, Brickfield, at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late K.C. Dhammananda and Venerable Gunaratana. He joined the Buddhist Missionary Society youth session at the BMV after completing his tertiary studies, and also served as a vice chairman and then chairman subsequently. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, PMS Malaysia. He's active in sharing the Dhamma at various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore, and he's also a striving meditator. Brother Siang Chye was the head of the Dhamma subcommittee while serving in the ESCO of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, and was later appointed as its lay advisor. His talks center around daily practice of the Dhamma and how it transforms one's life. He feels it is important to understand the essential teachings of the Buddha, as it gives Buddhists a strong foundation of knowledge which prevents them from wrong interpretation and practice of the Dhamma. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions regarding the topic this morning, you may type your questions in the comment section. We shall read the questions after Dhamma talk for Brother Siang Chye to give us an answer. Please take note that we might not be able to answer all questions due to the time constraint. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we shall now invite Brother Siang Chye to deliver the Dhamma talk on the Buddha's advice for leading a harmonious layman's life. Brother Siang Chye.
Good morning, Dhamma brothers and sisters. I'm very happy once again to be with you on this wonderful Sunday morning to share some of what I know about the teachings of the Buddha. And today I have chosen a very interesting sutta or discourse. And it is called the Sigalovada Sutta. And during the Buddha's ministry, that means the 45 years that he taught the Dhamma, there was a sizable amount of teachings that went towards the monks and nuns. Simply because the monks and nuns were very close to the Buddha. Physically, they were more around him than the other lay disciples, the supporters, the laymen that wanted to listen to the teachings of the Buddha. They came only at appointed times to the monastery or to where the Buddha was staying. But most of the time, the monks and nuns were around the Buddha. So they got the bulk of the Buddha's attention. And their issues were very, very specific. That is, what they wanted to know, the clarifications, the questions, the doubts, were very much to do with the deeper practice. That means those monks and nuns during that time, the reason for their renunciation was to attain the end of suffering. That is, to realize and attain Nibbana. So that was their main purpose. And so their issues, their matters that they talked with the Buddha were very, very connected with practice and understanding. But the Buddha did, if we take a look at the collection of the teachings, the Buddha did give many discourses or pieces of advice to the lay people. The people who might not want to renounce and become monks and nuns. They were very contented with their layman life. They liked to enjoy things. They wanted to have pleasures of the senses. They wanted to own property. There were many things which they enjoyed doing. So there were a number of supporters of the Buddha that were lay people. And among them, of course, there were kings and ministers and very, very rich people, and also highly intellectual people were these supporters of the Buddha. So one of these layman-oriented discourses is this discourse I would like to discuss, and it is a very long sutta. It's located in the collection called the Digha Nikaya, meaning the collection of very long suttas. Some suttas are short, some suttas are medium length, but this one is rather long. And if I have the opportunity, I will continue perhaps for one more session to discuss this Sigalovada Sutta. Because as we go along, I think you will appreciate that there is a lot of advice for us to take note of and try to apply in our lives, so that we can have a very harmonious layman's life, and avoid troubles, and situations, that will give us difficulty and anxiety, and worry, etc., etc. Okay, next slide, please. So, before I start, I would like to give the background to the sutta. And in this sutta, because the scope of the advice is so large, I cannot cover it. I will only cover a very specific area, or a very specific advice that is given to this person. So this is the background of the sutta. It was given or uttered by the Buddha to a very upstanding and very well respected young man called Sigala. That's in the name. So Sigalovada Sutta is made up of two words. Sigala is the name of the person whom the Buddha gave the advice to. Ovada means teaching or advice. So it's probably, usually when we hear this word Ovada, it's a kind of a religious teaching. So Sigalovada, when you combine these two words together, means advice to the young man Sigala. And why did the Buddha give this advice to Sigala? So that we can have this Sigalovada Sutta. Also, one interesting thing to take note of is when the British were in control of India, when India still was a colony of the British Empire, and when they came across the Buddha's teachings, there were some of them who were very interested in learning Indian language, especially Pali, in order to translate what they came across as the Buddha's teachings. Because when they came, they of course had their Western worldview. Their opinion was that everything that they had was superior to whatever they found in Asia and in India. But when they came across the Buddha's teachings, they found it so rich and had so much value to change and transform one's life that they started to translate whatever they could lay their hands on. Not all of them, mind you, only a small number of them were interested in the Buddha's teachings enough to translate it into English and then publish books and promote those books in their home country, in Great Britain, in Europe, etc., etc. And interestingly enough, one of the popular suttas that these British translators liked very much was the Sigalovada Sutta. And for the most part, I think this is because Sigalovada Sutta is aimed at the layman. It's not of high, shall we say, spiritual discussion and abstract to them. They could understand very easily the Buddha's teachings. So here is the background of why it was delivered. The parents of this young man, which I mentioned, Sigala, the father and mother, they were devout supporters of the Buddha. They were devout disciples of the Buddha. They met with the Buddha very often. They listened to the Buddha's teachings and they did their own meditation practice. So much so, that when Sigala was born, the father and the mother had already attained to the first stage of purity. They were both Sotapanna. And as they went on, they began to realize that they wanted to practice the teachings of the Buddha more. They were quite well off. They began to let go of their property, their business, their possessions, to hand it over to this son of theirs, Sigala, and they went and did more and more of the practice of the Buddha's teachings. And by the time they died, they were actually Arahants. So this, the parents, the father and mother, of course, wanted to get Sigala interested in the Buddha's teachings. But Sigala was not interested. He was, put it very straightforwardly, he was a rich man's son. And because he was brought up in such comfortable surroundings, he had no interest to follow the parents to go and meet with the Buddha. He had no interest to go and listen to the Buddha's teachings. He did not want to mix with the monks and nuns that had enough knowledge to teach him. So he avoided it. He avoided it as much as he could. So let me share with you the next slide. And in this slide, when you hear it, you can accept that it is a very familiar words. Because a lot of young people these days, when you encourage them to go to listen to the Buddha's teachings in the centers, in the temples, in the viharas, they will tell you the same thing. So let me read it, and then you can see whether these words are familiar to you. So here it says, when the father encouraged Sigala to follow him, or to go by himself to the viharas and the temples, to seek audiences with the monks and to mix with them, to talk to them, to learn from them. Young Sigala said, "Dear father, for me, there is no use in visiting those religious teachers," meaning the Buddhist monks. "If I were to draw near to them, to those holy teachers, I should have to kneel down and worship them. When I kneel down and bend my body, there will arise pain in my back and my knees will become rough. When I squat on the floor, my clothes will become soiled, and torn. When I remain near them, they will begin to converse with me. Conversation will lead to the formation of friendship with them. Thereafter, I shall have to supply them with alms, robes, beds, and medicines. When I go to supply them with these requisites, I shall have to neglect my work and spend a lot of money on their account. And therefore, dear Father, he said, there is no use in my going to visit your holy priests. So therefore, it's very familiar, isn't it? When we ask our young people to go to the temple, they will have the same excuse. I got no time, I must do this. When I bow before them, it's very troublesome, etc., etc. So while the parents were alive, he did not want to meet the Buddha or meet any of the learned monks. But eventually, the father grew old and the father passed away. And on the deathbed, he said, he gave advice to his young son. He said to the son, when I am gone, passed away, and you bury me, the days after that, you must do these certain things. Because if you revere me, if you have respect for me, if you have any love for me, you will do this every day. And there was an ulterior motive, because the father, who passed away as an Arahant, still wanted the son to listen to the Buddha's teachings and to learn something from the Buddha. So this is what he did. Next slide, please. So early in the morning, this young man, every morning, as was the Brahmin practices, he would go to the stream or the river and he would bathe himself with his clothes still on. This is a common practice. The Hindus, even today, who developed from Brahmanism, they still like to wash themselves before they go into the prayer hall. So what this young man did was, he washed himself, still with the clothes on. And with his clothes still wet, he went to a junction of the roads. And there, he would pay respects to the 6 directions. He would pay respects to, because Indian culture, they always start with the direction where the sun rises. That is the east. So he would pay respect to the east. Then he would pay respect to the west, and then the north and the south, and then the zenith, which is the highest point, and the nadir, which is the lowest point. So he did this every day. And it so happened, on one occasion, the Buddha was staying near the city. And the Buddha got up and prepared for his alms round. So taking the alms bowl, and this is what the Buddhist monks still do in Buddhist countries. They will go from house to house. They won't say very much. What they will do is wait at the front of the house. And if the people in this house wanted to do dana, wanted to do charity, they will offer some food, some drinks to the monks. So the Buddha prepared himself and he went on his alms round. And as he got into this junction, he saw Sigala doing this. And he was very, very curious. But he knew who Sigala's father was. And he knew this was an occasion, this was an opportunity to teach the young man something. So, he approached the young man and he asked young Sigala, "Wherefore do you, young householder?" He was also known as the house lord because he was the only son. And after the father passed away, he took over the running of the house. The house belonged to him. The business and the property all also belonged to him. So he was pretty well off. And because of his comfort and the things that he owned, he was still very grateful to his father. So every day he would do this. Yeah, he would wet his clothes and his hair, go to the junction and pay respects to the 6 directions. So the Buddha came to him and asked him, yeah, young householder, rising early in the morning, you worship with joined hands these various quarters, the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, the nadir, and the zenith, yeah, the low point and the high point. And yeah, he asked, why do you do this? So young Sigala replied, my father, Lord, while dying, said to me, the 6 quarters, dear son, you shall worship. And I, Lord, respecting, revering, reverencing, and honoring my father's words, yeah, with all these wet hair, wet clothes, and standing in the junction, worship with joined hands these 6 quarters. And the Buddha said, now I must teach him, yeah, what his father actually wanted him to learn. He explained, it is not this, young householder, the 6 quarters, yeah, not in this way. Yeah, the 6 quarters should be worshipped in the discipline, yeah, of the noble. Which means to say, those who understand will know how to actually apply, yeah, the worshipping of the 6 quarters. But young Sigala, because he was not so smart, yeah, not so learned, he took it as north is north, south is south, east is east, yeah, west is west. But there was meaning in it, right? And then the Lord, yeah, he said, how then, to the Buddha, he said, how then, Lord, should the 6 quarters be worshipped in the discipline of the noble? That means those learned ones. How do they do it? It is well, Lord, if the exalted one, meaning the Buddha, would teach the doctrine to me. Aha! So there he was now, yeah, at the verge of listening to the Buddha's advice, yeah, and all through the wisdom of the wise father, yeah, who asked him to do this. So he asked, show me how to actually worship the 6 quarters. How do you actually do it? How do the noble ones do it? Well, young householder, the Buddha replied, listen and hear it well. In mind, I shall speak. Yeah, and so the young householder, Sigala, he began to listen, yeah, to the Buddha. So here is an illustration, a picture of the young householder with his wet hair, wet clothes, listening to the Buddha, who is still carrying the alms bowl. Because this whole sutta, it's a very long sutta. This whole sutta was delivered with the 2 of them standing in the middle of the road. Not exactly in the middle of the road, yeah, in the road, yeah, on the road, where there were others also passing by. But because it was so early, not many people were there. But the entire sutta, yeah, was delivered by the Buddha standing, and the young Sigala was also standing, and he was listening, yeah, very, very attentively. So these 6 quarters, as advised by the young man's father, Sigala, right, meant the 6 cardinal directions were the 6 important groups of people. Next, please. And here are the 6 important groups of people. So the East means you pay respect to your parents. The South, and this is how in Indian culture the direction would go. You know, first it's East, then it's South, then it's West, etc. So East means pay respect to your parents. South means you must pay respect to your teachers. The West means pay respects, yeah, to your spouse, your husband or your wife, as well as to your children. There is a exchange in the relationships. It is not just one way. Yeah, what you do to your parents must also equally fulfill their duties to you. So the South, yeah, are the friends. The Nadir is means the employees, and the Zenith are the religious teachers. So these are the 6 cardinal directions, not the actual compass directions, but the 6 groups of people we as lay men and lay women must address, must take care of, must go to them, must make sure we do our duty to them. And when they do reciprocate, when they in return do their duty to us, we will have wonderful relationships. And when we have wonderful relationships, the whole community will be harmonious. Yeah, the groups will be harmonious. And when the groups are harmonious, the community is harmonious, the whole country will be harmonious. But when these the relationships between us and the 6 groups here are not well maintained, we will start having problems in society. And we will take a look at that in a short while. But before this, the Buddha gave extensive advice on the code of conduct, on how to behave in society, which we will take a look at a later date. But for now, I would like to explain the 6 cardinal points, the groups of people involved. In particular, I would like to look at the family. I would like to focus on what we should do as family members, so that we build harmony in the family, and then harmony in society, in the larger groups, and harmony in the community, which is so important. Because nowadays, as you can appreciate, our relationships with those around us are beginning to weaken and diminish. And actually, sometimes we don't even have good relations with our neighbors. People who live next door to us, we don't really know them. So in this modern society, the relationships, the associations, our links and connections are becoming more and more restricted. Not like in the old days, we knew everybody in the street. Especially, I remember my grandfather's house. He was a learned man because he was a teacher. Many people in the street came to ask him for advice. And so he got to know them, they got to know him. It was the creation of a community of that street. So it was wonderful, and there was a nice unity and harmony in the area that he stayed with. Next, please. Next slide. So I would like to examine, before we zoom in to the smaller group in our lives, I would like to have a discussion, because this is very much, I see, is very much weakening in our communities, in our society, in our relationships with people who are not our family. Family is important, but the people who are slightly outside of our family, could be neighbors, could be our friends, could be our community, the people who stay in our community. We need to also see how harmony in these groups will affect our well-being, the well-being of our family, and the well-being of ourselves. Can it be done? Can we have harmonious relationships with them? So human beings, especially in this modern age, tend to restrict. They're not so interested. And we can see that now there are certain changes in society, which for the most part, I think, make people feel as though they are cut off from the rest of their community. This is not healthy. When I was studying overseas in the UK, I used to visit London. London is a huge city. Millions and millions of people, much bigger than Kuala Lumpur. And although these people live in a huge city of millions, they were very lonely. Yeah, they are surrounded by people, millions of people, but you can see in their eyes, yeah, that they do not want to acknowledge others. They prefer to be in their own little shell, yeah, to be their own little bubble, yeah, or their space. They are not so keen to even look around, yeah, with each other. So in the huge cities, it's become like that. Our population are now becoming more and more urban. That means more of humankind today live in cities, yeah, than in the countryside. And it was like that in the early 20th century, but this has changed in the 21st century. But even though we live in a space that is full of people, we become lonely because we don't know them. Yeah, we prefer to cut them off. And this is not healthy for the human being. So this is, for this reason, I would like to discuss in our context, yeah, human relationships. Next, please. So let me start with how we can change. Yeah, and we know that, very often, even when we work in groups of people, yeah, not just the larger community, sometimes we do not want to change our character, what we think, what we believe in. We think that everything that we hold on to is the best, yeah, and we don't want to change. And in order to have harmony, yeah, even within a family, yeah, the other day my friend said, oh, he had a heart-to-heart discussion, yeah, with his children, and his children told him things that he was surprised. He didn't know that he was behaving, and his wife also was behaving like this towards the children. And when the children expressed themselves, yeah, he said, oh, thank you for telling me. Yeah, I want things to be better. Yeah, I am prepared to change. So let's look at what the Venerable Thanissaro has to say about change, because we must be willing to accept change. We must be willing to affect, to carry out change when we know that it will be for the better. So this is what he says. Let me read it. Insight into change teaches us hope, because change is built into the nature of things. Nothing is inherently fixed, not even our own identity. So we think, this is me, I don't want to change. No. Yeah, Ajahn Thanissaro says, we are open to change. We are subject to change. So, no matter how bad the situation, anything is possible. Only if you want it. We can do whatever we want to do, create whatever world we want to live in, and become whatever we want to be. So this change, yeah, this element of change, the dimension of change is very, very important. Yeah, sometimes when things change, we feel quite sad because we want to hang on to the things that we are so used to. That make us very comfortable, very happy, gives us pleasant feelings. But we know we can't hang on, yeah, to everything that we like. People grow old, people pass away, circumstances, yeah, even our jobs, our ability to work also will change. So when we understand this, we also must be prepared to change when the need arises for us to make the change in ourselves. The Buddha's journey as an ordinary worldling, as an ordinary human being, towards attaining full supreme enlightenment was a journey of change. He wanted to change. He wanted to attain Buddhahood. So he set forth to change himself, to acquire all the qualities that will enable him to be enlightened. This is change. He was prepared to change so that he could attain enlightenment. He was prepared to go through hardship, to go through suffering, not just for one lifetime, but for eons of lifetimes. Eons means uncountable duration of time. Also, one kalpa, that means the existence of one universe. We think that the universe right now is about 17 billion years old, and it will go on for a few more billion. For the time of one kalpa, and more, the Buddha, a bodhisattva, on the way to achieving enlightenment, made changes to his personality. When he saw that things were no good, he cut them off. When he saw that things were good, he acquired them. When he knew he had to train more certain aspects of his personality, he trained more. When he knew that he had to renounce things, he renounced things. So this quality of change, don't think that we are so set. This is me, I don't want to change. That is not a right way of thinking. So as Achan Thanisaro, he's a famous scholar. He's done a lot of writing and a lot of translation. He tells us, right, nothing is inherently fixed, not even our own identity. Because if something drastic happens to us, we also will change. If something good, fantastically good happens to us, we also will change. So this element of change, we must be prepared to make sure it will lead us towards good. Next slide, please. And I'd like to share with you a saying, not from someone who is Buddhist, from a very wise Chinese sage called Confucius. And here is change as applied to the community, to people, to the larger group of people. Confucius shared this with us when he was alive during the 8th century, I believe, in China. He said, to change the world, we begin by changing the nation. The whole world, too big. Change the nation first, the country. To change the nation, change the communities. So cut it down, the community. To change the community, even smaller, change the families. That means our family space, our family members, who they are. To change the family, change ourselves. So therefore, my dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, we must be prepared to change. When we know that it will be for a good purpose. Next, please. And let us take some advice. Oh, the slide has gone off a little bit. From our late teacher, the Venerable Dr. K. Sri Dhammananda. He talked about society. And he said, a society grows through a network of relationships which are mutually intertwined and interdependent. So we are dependent on each other for our harmony, for our happiness. We will not be happy if the wider scope of our existence is not in harmony. So because everything is harmonious, the society, the community is harmonious, then we feel that we are living in a good place. But there are many, we see that in times of war, when there is no harmony, there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of danger and anger. People will run away from that place in order to seek safety and more security. So this is the words of the late chief. So therefore, we must take care of the network of relationships, which are intertwined and interdependent. We rely on others. We cannot live alone. I mean, there are people who live alone, but they live alone because they have great peace of mind. To those who are of us who are ordinary, we don't have that deep peace of mind. And so we need to rely on others. And relying on others means we need to reach out to others, without such a strong sense of ego, our sense of personality, and try to have harmony, within our communities. Next, please. So, here is ourselves, and others. There is harmony. So harmony, the Pali word, avirodha, is the smooth and pleasant functioning together of two or more parties. So this is the bigger group, two or more parties. So when everyone is functioning smoothly, they know each other, they are willing to give and take with each other, you get harmony. And harmony is wonderful because when you stay in an area of harmony, your mind will be at peace. The Buddha said that some of the things contributing to the progress of a society are the ability to meet together in harmony. This is the advice that the Buddha gave in the last sutta of his life. As he was passing away, he spent the last few weeks and months actually, putting everything in place. And he said in this sutta called the Parinibbana Sutta that the society must be able to meet together in harmony. Look at each other in positive terms, adjourn in harmony, and conduct business in harmony. This is wonderful. We meet happily, we talk happily, and we go off in our own separate ways happily, in harmony. So this is something important for our community. Next, please. So as I said, in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the Buddha talked about the communal harmony of the Vajjayans. The Vajjayans stayed in this prosperous city called Vesali, today called Vaisali. And here are some pictures of Vaisali today. It still exists in India. And Vaisali is of note to us because it was in this city that the Ratana Sutta, the very popular Ratana Sutta, was uttered by the Buddha. And when he uttered this Ratana Sutta, the city of Vesali was having some kind of plague. The people were sick, and they were unhappy. And because they were unhappy, they fell sick very easily. So many people, it was a mini pandemic, only restricted to the city of Vesali. So the Buddha said, he told to Venerable Ananda, let us chant, the Ratana Sutta, and the vibrations, the positive feel vibrations of the Ratana Sutta was able to keep people's mind positive. And when their minds were positive, they were in harmony. And because they were in harmony, the ability to resist the disease became stronger. And after some time, the sicknesses all went away. So the Vajjayans of Vesali, they enjoyed communal harmony because they followed the advice of the Buddha. Why was this situation brought up? Because the king of a neighboring kingdom, called King Ajatasattu, he wanted to attack Vesali. And he wanted to conquer Vesali. Because if he had conquered Vesali, he would have added this prosperous kingdom of Vesali to his kingdom. And then he would be bigger. And when somebody reported this to the Buddha said, King Ajatasattu will never conquer Vesali. Because the people who run Vesali, this is what they do. They have followed my advice. And because of the harmony in the city, that powerful king with his armies will never be able to conquer the people called the Vajjayans. And here is the advice. Next, please. In full, the relevant parts. He says, as I mentioned just now, always gathering together through regular meetings and assemblies. They will gather in harmony. And after attending the meeting in unison, and discussing in harmony, they will leave the meeting feeling very good that they have contributed. And then they will refrain from introducing bad policies. And they will honor and respect elders and senior citizens. And because of that, the elders will give them also good advice. Then they will respect women and not violate their rights. Because women are physically, in those days, physically not so strong. Also in society, they are not having as much power as the men. But the Buddha said, because of that, you must look after them. And when the women folk are so happy, they raise better sons and daughters. And because they raise positive sons and daughters, these people will look after the community and the country. And nobody can conquer them, the Buddha said. That powerful king with his armies, his elephants, and all the resources will never be able to conquer this group of peace-loving, but very clever people who live in harmony. They will preserve and honor the religious places. They will also look after the Arahants and the religious teachers. So when you do these 7 things, the Buddha said, they will never be conquered because their harmony is so strong. The people will all gather and protect the city, and no one who is the aggressor, who wants to fight with them, will be able to defeat them. But once they don't follow this, the Buddha said, they are open to attack. Next, please. So now we look at the family. Next slide. And why it is so important. The family is the basic unit of society. And it is the first ordinary human being, the first person or experience of a social group. Our first group that we grow up in is the family. So a peaceful and harmonious family is the most fundamental component of a peaceful and modern society. So the family will lead to the society. And I have seen it. Actually, if the family is not strong, the society also is not strong. You can observe that in other countries. Next, please. So I'm sharing some statistics and which I acquired in some time ago. And here it says that there seems to be an increase in the divorce rates in our country. So a little bit of disharmony in those areas. But on the more people are getting married and more people are getting divorced as well. Right. But on the whole, we are still living in a very harmonious country, a very harmonious society. Although there are ups and downs, in things that happen, but still, it is considered harmonious. What the people do from now on, in this the next few months, next few years, if it is not harmonious, you will see that many people will not have faith in the leaders, and perhaps there might be more disharmony in society. So when everybody does their part, what I'm saying is everybody does their part to look after each other, we will have harmony and strength in society and in the country. Next, please. So here I'm sharing something from the New Straits Times, and it's old news, but it says here in this headline, financial issues is the biggest cause of divorce in Malaysia. So the family must know how to look after itself. Yeah, must have harmony, or else there will be more and more divorce and weaknesses happening, affecting the family. Next, please. Yeah, and then there is these things about social ills, and this comes from a respected leader, Tan Sri Lam Thai, who talks about when the family is strong, there will be less social ills. But unfortunately, now the family unit is not so cohesive, not so united. We will have more and more problems if this goes on in the future. Next, please. Yeah. So now I will go into the advice proper from the Sigalovada Sutta. And this is how a child should look after the parents as the East. So this is not a small child. This is an adult child, meaning to say the parents are still alive, or even when they are not alive, he or she will still have duties to take care of. So the thought will be like this: having supported me, I shall support them. Because when the parents when they were younger, they could earn, they could work, they brought in the money to support the children. And so the children, when they are able to stand on their own, their thinking should be, let me now look after my parents. I shall do their duties, meaning whatever I can do to make them comfortable, whatever I can do to look after them. If they need to go and see the doctor, I will not resist in taking them to the doctors. If they want to go and eat something, I will not complain. Oh, why are you all the time asking me to take you out? No, there's no complaint. It is always, they have done this for me, and now I shall do this for them. I shall keep the family tradition. Maybe the family has the tradition of doing dana, of supporting certain charity, of doing certain good things for society or the community. So because my parents did this, I will still do it. You continue some kind of family practice. Don't just cut off. Oh, my father now is gone, I don't have to do this anymore. He used to help this group of people. So because you respect your father and your mother, they used to do this. So you, in your own small way or big way, depends on your resources, you try and continue with that tradition. If they supported the temples, you must also support the temples. If they supported the poor people, you must also try your best to support the poor people. I shall make myself worthy of my inheritance. That is to say, the parents, whatever it is in the past or now, have passed on things to you. And because they have passed things to you as your inheritance, you must make them proud. You must behave in a respectable way, rather than have people complain about you to your parents. Oh, this person is not behaving in the right way. I've seen him or her do this, do this, do this, do this. And then the parents will become very heartsick. So therefore, to maintain the good relationships, you must behave in a way worthy of your inheritance. And furthermore, I shall offer alms in honor of my departed relatives. So whoever are your departed relatives, they looked after you, they nurtured you while they were alive. Now that they have passed away, you must remember them and invite them. Because there is this practice that when you invite them to see what you are doing, they will be happy. But if they do not know about what you are doing, you cannot make them happy. And therefore, the merits, there will be no change in their status. Only if they become happy, knowing what you are doing, especially this period, you have to invite them to be witness. Say to your parents, father and mother, I am doing this in your honor. You have taught me how to do this, these good things. And so I invite you to see, to witness these things that I'm carrying on in your name, and I hope you will be happy. And because of the happiness, they will increase their merits. And due to the increase in merits, if they need it, if they don't need it, at least they become happy seeing what you've done. But some beings need the merits, and they also, will be elevated, or they will be more comfortable, seeing what you have done, in their name. They remember I have taught them, my children, and because my children do this, I am so happy. They are still doing good things, and they have invited me to come and see it. So therefore, it is an important step in offering alms. You have to invite your departed relatives, not just from this life, but from previous lives. We have had uncountable fathers and mothers in our previous lives. Our uncountable number of relatives from our previous lives. So invite them and make them happy as well, that you are doing good things. Right? So you must do good things. Don't do bad things. If you're doing bad things, they don't want to be involved because it doesn't make them happy. It doesn't, increase the merits that they have. So remember that. Sometimes, in our traditional beliefs, we do a lot of certain things, but from the view of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha, right? This is his advice to us. So if we respect the Buddha, we will carry out these practices according to the orthodox teachings. Next, please. So if you are the parents, ministered to as the East by your children, these are the duties of parents. And there are many parents, I know, who would like to know what to do. They restrain them from evil as much as they can, because you only raise them until a certain age. After that, they don't look towards you for advice anymore. But when they are young, you must build in them this understanding of what is good and what is not good, what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. Because when they get to their adult days, their adult lives, without teaching, without being able to recognize the wholesome from the unwholesome, it's already too late. They do not understand what you are talking about. So don't give them an example to follow that is not wholesome. But when you do wholesome things, you tell them, this is a wholesome thing. You must do it after I am gone. You help people, you do charity, you support certain worthy organizations. This is your duty. So you do them. You restrain them from committing evil by telling them the results. So teach them Dhamma as well. Maybe your kids need to don't want to go to the temple and listen to the monks or the teachers. Maybe you must find a way of getting them to do it. There was one millionaire during the Buddha's time. He bribed his son to go and listen to the Buddha. He said, if you go there, I will give you $10,000. And then the son said, okay, give me $10,000. So he took $10,000 and he listened. Now listening came back. And the father asked, did you listen? Yes. Next time you want to go? No, give me another 10,000. So after a few times of going, the teachings went into his mind. And then the father said, now I will give you another $10,000. So he said, the son said, no need to do that anymore. I will go on my own because I have heard the Buddha's teachings and it is so meaningful to me. It has made my mind think differently. Okay, then you encourage them to do good. You train them for a profession. This is what many people are doing. I worked in a university before. I see parents sacrificing what they have, taking out from the EPF, their own EPF, which they need in their old days, just to make sure the children are trained in the profession. They arrange a suitable marriage. Nowadays, I'm not quite sure whether you can carry this out. But whatever it is, you must, make sure that they have a good partner, in their lives. And you have to discuss with them also sometimes. Not that they want to listen, but at least give some advice, to them about finding a suitable partner. And at the number 5, at the proper time, hand over the inheritance to them. What that means now, I am not sure. There are many ways to do this. But it's not until you have to wait until you pass away, then you can only give them inheritance. So say, I have given you good education. That is inheritance. I have given you the chance to learn things by sending you for this course, that class, whatever. That is the inheritance. And after that, this house will belong to you. Make sure you behave in the proper way so that I will be happy. But don't threaten them. Say, if I'm not happy, I come back and look for you. Don't threaten them like this. Let them follow their own way, but teach them well while you are still around. Next one. Next slide, please. Right, this is the family in terms of husband, wife, and husband. Husband must behave towards the wife, right? So the Buddha said, in 5 ways, and the Buddha, before he renounced, he was also a husband. He had a very loving wife. So I think he is well qualified to give this set of advice. So the Buddha said, in 5 ways, young householder, should a wife, as the West, and East, West, the next one, the parents are actually the East. So West should be ministered by a husband. The husband must be courteous to the wife. Don't always find the opportunity to scold your wife. Must be courteous. Talk in a polite way. As much as possible. Even sometimes the wife sometimes might be a bit irritable. You have to talk to her in your own pleasant way. You cannot despise her. Do not despise her. Everybody makes mistakes. We also make mistakes. So therefore, don't despise the wife. But sometimes, the wife might not have the same way of thinking or the same, come from the same background. So don't hold that against the wife. You have to be faithful to her. Don't let your eye look here, look there, everywhere, and then go after, others. And then your wife will be very insecure, will not know whether, you will bring another lady home. And I've heard so many stories, especially after the man passed away, various wives start to appear. Don't do that, to your wife. You got to hand over authority to her. Make sure that she can make her own decisions. And lastly, they like to be beautiful. So give her adornments, give her nice things, things that will make her look good, and she will be happy. So she can look good when she goes out with you as well. Remember that. Next, please. And then the wife to the husband. These are the duties in keeping the harmony of the marriage. She performs her duties well. So there must be many duties that the wife is performing. She is hospitable to relations and attendants. That means the family of the husband, she is good to them. She's also polite to them. She will look after them when they come to the house. She is faithful to the husband. That's easy to understand. She protects what he brings. That means whatever he earns, she doesn't simply, squander away, and spend. But what is also important is whatever happens in the home, whatever happens in the home, the wife will not gossip about it to others. She does not carry the inside fire out. Ancient Indians used to have flame burning because they respect the fire. The wife should not carry information that is not good about the family outside to others. The wife cannot do that. The Buddha mentioned, do not carry the inside flame to the outside. So whatever is not nice, every family will have things that they are not proud of. They will make some mistakes. Yeah, there will be some strange things, maybe some unwholesome things happening. Do not go and carry tales to others about what is happening, in the home, that you share with others. That is very important. So she must protect, the integrity, the name of the family. So if there is no protection, suddenly people approach you and say, I heard your wife told me the other day this thing is happening in your house. You get a shock. How can such tales be taken out of the house? So the wife should not do that. And lastly, she is skilled and industrious in discharging her duties. So whatever the husband expects of her, she will carry out. Right. Next, please. So these are the qualities, and it's very important. There was one time and we hear the stories quite a lot, that a man, when I was quite active in the Mahavihara in Brickfields, a young man drove into the Vihara with an old lady, asked the old lady to get out. And the old lady was very, very unhappy and crying. But the young man forced her to get out, closed the car door and drove away. And there she sat crying. And the monks asked her, what happened? What happened? Who's that man? That man, she said, is my son. He doesn't want to look after me anymore. So he dropped me here in the temple. And I just thought that people only drop dogs and cats they didn't want to the temple. So here is a man who didn't want his mother, drop her into the temple, so that the society can look after her. So the family unit begins to break down. That is not healthy. That is a loss of harmony. So parent-child relationship must be characterized by love, good communication, acceptance. You have to accept the nature of your children or the nature of your parents, patience, respect, and support. These are important qualities, especially respect. You must respect them. In the Western countries, I hear some even I had friends who refer to the parents through their first name. This is John, my father, John. John, come and meet my friend. This is, to an Asian, this is unbelievable. Right? But it's happening in some societies. Right? Fulfilling duties, important. Next, please. Harmonious marriage. There is fulfilling expectations. So in some societies, you can choose your partner. In some societies, you cannot choose your partner because it is decided for you. But whatever it is, these are the qualities. Commitment, there's not much time. I can't go into them in detail. Commitment, love, respect, again, emotional support, morality, good companionship, good communication, courtesy, and tolerance. These are important for marriage. And you can see in certain societies, very easily they change their husband or their wife, just like changing clothes. I'm tired of you, now I find a new one. All these qualities are not there. They are just there to entertain each other. So there is no emotional bonding between the husband and the wife. Next, please. So let me end by going through some reflections. Reflections are very important. It is called by the Buddha Yoniso Manasikara, wise reflection. That means even after we hear a teaching, it's going on in our minds. It is not just here, listen, there, forgot. We must, play the teachings again in our minds and try to understand it well. So as we lead our lives with parents, spouses, and children, we must constantly think about how we can achieve happiness and harmony in the relationship. How do I make things better? How do I have a stronger relationship with these people. To maintain harmony, there are two important practices. There is to be mindful and to be patient. Practicing mindfulness allows us to be aware of the dynamics and circumstances of living our lives with others. Number two, patience causes us to step back and consider the best way to ensure harmony of the group rather than placing ourselves first. So if we have too much of self-interest, nothing can work. Nothing. Yeah. So we got to let go. We got to be a bit selfless. Yeah. I want to contribute to the good of the family as well as the community. So, my dear friends, I hope you will take this and reflect upon it. Know that we are all imperfect beings. We are beings who are not enlightened. We still have our imperfections and our defilements. But that doesn't mean we cannot make the best of a situation. Have that positive attitude that things will get better. Yeah, if you put energy and commitment, and your time and effort into making things better. It will not become better if there is no effort and energy put into it. Nothing will go well without any effort. So effort is very important. So last one. With this, I'd like to thank you for your kind attention. I hope I have shared with you something worthwhile. Some of these are my own life experience of working with others, of also being part of a family. I hope you will find that it is useful and you can reflect upon it. If you want to further discuss, I will be open to questions. As I mentioned, this is a very long sutta. I've only touched on a very small part of it. And I think if I'm invited for another talk, I shall expand on more general relationships, on what we must do. I focus on the family first, and because family is very important in our lives. And then we will look at the larger scope of society. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for this very interesting, very educational and spiritual Dhamma talk this morning. Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, we shall now proceed with the question and answer sessions. If you have any questions, you may type your questions in the comment box. Any questions from from Brother Siang Chye? Brother Siang Chye, this question here: it's easy to understand the children's duty to support the parents because the parents supported the children for so many years. How about those parents who neglect the children, give them away while they themselves enjoy their life? In such cases, is it still the duty of the children to support their parents?
Thank you for this question. It's not an easy question to answer, because there are so many dimensions. But still, we have to remember, because the Buddha did mention that for the mother, at least, this child has grown 9 to 10 months in the body of the mother. And for that period of looking after, supplying that child, that baby or that fetus, with nutriments, making sure that nothing happens to that child is enough. And also, the Buddha mentioned she delivered the child at the risk of her own life. Because child delivery, the delivery of the baby, is a very painful process. was with my wife when my two children were delivered, and I can tell you it was not pleasant. Yeah, neither for my wife or for me, because it was very painful. But when the baby appeared, it was a really very happy time. But the process itself, yeah, is very painful. And at any time, the Buddha also said, and doctors will tell you, yeah, it is not the safe, yeah, because anything can happen to the mother, and we have heard stories of mothers bleeding, yeah, to death, on the delivery bed, you know. So the Buddha said, at least, yeah, we have to be grateful to our parents for bringing us into this world, yeah, because it is a very risky process. So it's true, there are people who like the father maybe, and later on the mother, yeah, it's not easy for a mother to give up the child. Not easy. Generally, it's not easy. But sometimes, because of circumstances, they don't have the economic means, financial background, resources to look after the child. They have to give the poor child away. You know, you always hear of these families, right? They are poor. And although they are poor, they still keep having children. So in order for this baby to have a good life, they give it away to somebody who can look after the child rather than hang on to it, and everybody will be suffering, and maybe they won't get enough to eat. So it is a sacrifice on the mother's side to give away this baby. You know, and sometimes they still do think, yeah, about the baby that they have given away, and they feel very, very sad that they didn't have the opportunity, yeah, to actually bring up this child herself. But it's true, there are times when there are parents who neglect their children. But still, on our side, yeah, they are the ones who brought us into the world. So we must respect them for this duty, yeah, that they have done. Some might give away, some might neglect, whatever it is. Yeah, we have to do the duty, yeah, that is our duty, that is ours. So you might not want to take care of them fully, but at least acknowledge them. Yeah, say hello to them, yeah, and make them comfortable as much as you possibly can afford to give them, you know, whatever it is. So don't forget that this is a duty of this life. And the very fact that they are our parents, that means you have association with them in the past. Who is it who won't say that in the past you neglected them, now they neglect you back? Maybe that happened and we don't know because we cannot see into our past. We only know people who have done us wrong, but we don't know the wrong we have done to others. We think that we are so pure and wonderful and upright, yeah, and respectable. The karma that we come into this world with, we are not able to see it. But sometimes when we can see it, then we can understand. I have done this before to these people. Now it's plain, you know, reaction that they do it back, yeah, to me. So it could be, I don't say it is always like this, because in this world, in this samsara, there are many ways of suffering. Suffering comes to us in multitude of ways, not just one way. Not just because of the parents give us up, etc., etc. So we have to accept the fact that, you know, we have to accept the fact that they gave life to us, acknowledge that. Yeah. But if you are open-hearted and you want to accept them as your parents again, then you can approach them. Some people don't feel the need to look for the biological parents. The adopted parents and whoever look after them, they are very happy with. Yeah, I have heard, because some of my relatives are adopted. And they openly tell me, I don't want to find my birth mother. I don't want to find my birth father, because, you know, the people who look after me, they are my mother, they are my father. I have no need for that anymore. So at the end of the day, with wisdom, the choice is ours. Do we want to support them? You have to make that choice. But I would say, you know, don't leave the balance, the weighing machine. Don't leave the weighing machine, out of balance. If you can give back to them, if you can do your duty to them, do it as much as you think you would like to. And when you have wisdom, when you listen to the Dhamma and the teachings of the Buddha, you will realize that it is not the circumstances of one life. It is many lives. These things have happened to us. There are some people, they are born, they live in a family, they are so well looked after, you know, especially the friends I have in SJBA. I see they love their children so much and give to them so much. But they are comfortable. They are able to earn well. But others might not be comfortable, might not be able to earn well. So they give up the children. And this is very, very sad. It doesn't mean that they are not sad. They are probably very sad, but they are young and they couldn't have enough money, so they have to give away. But if they neglect their children, that means that there is something disturbing them. Their suffering is so great that they neglect their children. And I have also heard in other countries, the parents will kill the children. Don't be shocked. They kill the children so that they can have a better life. That also happens. So when that happens, in the next life, the children who are killed, and if they are associated again, will be very angry towards these two people who killed them in the previous life. So this is what we believe. This is the teachings of the Buddha, that we are associated with each other life after life after life. And we have our good and bad karma to contend with, to live with. So don't make decisions thinking it's only like this in this life. So do your duty. Make sure that the debts are paid and the weighing machine is not out of your favor. When you try to do something good to people who have not been good to you, at least you rebalance that weighing machine. And then you are not so much indebted to them in the future lives. I hope that is a good enough answer. Human beings are not perfect people. We have a great deal of defilements. Especially when you take a look at the husband and wife. Imperfect person marries another imperfect person, hoping for a perfect life. Is that possible? So therefore, imperfect person must lessen their imperfections. The other imperfect person lessen their imperfect expectations. So you get a life that is semi-perfect, like perfect, but not 100% perfect all the time. So we have to learn to live. That is the nature of our human existence in samsara. Sometimes good, sometimes no good. Sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant. We have to live with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Siang Chye. Certainly a very profound answer to a very tough question. I've seen with my own eyes actually, people who have been neglected by the parents when they were small, but eventually took good care of their parents during their old age, and a lot of things eventually come to them. All right, I think we go for the next question. Any questions? This one from Sister Jade. How do we advise those who feel that their own parents are biased and treated their children differently in terms of having a favorite child?
Yes, it's something that's I don't know whether you can call it unavoidable. Yeah, because although we can have a few children, there are times when you feel particularly connected to one child. And although you try not to show it, it happens automatically. I wish every parent treated every child equally. But we know that sometimes there are favorites, in terms of how you behave towards the parent also. Because some children are particularly loving. They are very loving towards the parents, and they are able to buy the parents' heart. So the parents feel naturally more affinity and more love and stronger relationship towards this child. So that happens. Yeah, some kids, they love the father and mother, but they are very cool. That means to say they don't jump up and down when the parents come. Maybe they did when they were small, but as they grow up, they become very equanimous. Yeah, they practice equanimity to the parents. So when the parents say, "Hello, how are you?" "Oh, I am fine." And there are some kids. When I was teaching, I also saw there are some kids. They talk about their parents in a different way. When the parents come we have this meet the parents. They are very close to the parents, and there are some of my students. The parents they prefer not to have the parents involved in the education, but we give them the letter, force them to show the letter to the parents. We invite you to come and discuss your child's progress in the program, in the course. So they come, and sometimes even when they come, they are not really 100% interested. They just say, "Is he doing well? Is he wasting my money or not?" That's what they want to know. So some parents are not equal in the treatment of the child also. I want to make sure that every cent I pay, he is getting value. That's why I come today. Just to make sure that he is present in the class. He will do his work. He will do well, so that after he finish, he can earn money, and then after that give me some money of what he earns as well. So there are different, and the student actually loves the parents very much, but because the parents are so how do you say so calculative. There are parents who are very calculative. I have met them. I spend so much. When he start working, I want back so much. You might not have met them, but I, as a staff in the university, I used to look after a school. I have met some of these parents. They tell you like that. So I must get back. How much is this? I hope he can earn back within 10 years. Repay me everything that I've spent this next 3 or 4 years. There are those. So it's not on one side, the parents towards the child. Sometimes the parents themselves want back the returns. The children's education is an investment, not something of a right, not something you would like to give, but it is an investment, right? So it's true, So if you think that your child feels that the treatment is not fair, you must try your best to talk to them. When you tell them, your sister is so bubbly, so cheerful, every time singing song, we can't help it, But you are every time just neutral. We also love you, but when somebody approach us and hug us, naturally we feel more warm, warmly towards them. Yeah, it's like that. I have a cat. My cat now is not very warm. So I said, well, let's get rid of this cat. Get a cat now that climb all over you, very, very friendly, And my kids said, no, a cat is like this cat. I said, why don't we have a friendly, cuddly cat? Because I always watch those videos. The cat is always running around you and, very friendly. My cat now just look at you. When is it time for lunch? So, like that. Yeah, but we still love this cat because it's part of the family. So children are sometimes they are not on the same level. But we must show them that everything they are supposed to get, such as clothes, pocket money, education, whatever it is the same. Human beings sometimes relate to each other in a different way. I must say that, even between my two kids, sometimes, when they are more bubbly, you react in a different way, right? Even to my students, there are some students who are so interested, and come and talk to you. Sir, I don't quite know how to do this. Can you show me this? And I say, sure. I'm so happy that they are interested in the work. And there are some students, you ask them, how did you do? Okay lah. Show me what you did. Here it is. What do you feel? Are you happy? All right. There is no reaction to the learning, which you hope that because they are paying so much money, the parents are paying, they at least feel more enthusiastic, got some excitement, learning this. No, okay, I everything okay? And then I say everything is okay. Can I go now? Okay, you can go now. You can. It's like that. So everybody is different, but you have to voice out. You have to voice out, that you love all of them the same. And love is sometimes not easy to express, but you must say, sometimes they are like this. I can't help it, that they are so friendly. The student is so interested. Sometimes the student will also tell me, you treat that fellow better than me. I said, can I help it? Can I help it? They are so interested in the work. Come and talk to me, come and ask me questions, want to have help in the work. Can I treat them differently? You never ask me anything. How do you expect me to, to be friendly and accommodating towards you? So children are also like that, but you must tell them, that you love every one of them the same way. Even if you don't, you must say it in the words, right? That they are all, and you must put it in a way that is not lying, but it's true. All of you are the same, mean the same to me. You are still all my children, right? And you must tell them. You must tell them in this way. You just cannot be those normal Asian parents. No need to say anything, no need to do anything, no need to feel anything. You have to tell them that all of them are the same to you, right? A favorite child, you cannot help it. Like I said, in our existence, this child, maybe was related to you in a very close way. And the other child maybe argue with you all the time in the past life. So your reaction towards them might not be the same. But the love and respect for them needs to be the same. And after a while, when the child grows up, the child will understand. Because when they have children of their own, they will also know the position. They must treat everyone the same. But the internal response sometimes is not the same. I have to be very, very frank and sincere. I hope that answers your question. Life is unfair.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Siang Chye. I particularly like your the way you answer that sometimes we are particularly connected to some
Yes.
particular person because of some particular past karmic affinity. These are some particular reasons. I think because of time factor, we just answer one more question. Last question.
Yes.
I think I can see a few more questions. This last questions. The advice given by the Buddha in the Sikalawata Sutta was given about 2,600 years ago. Within the context of today's society, with so much differences in life values, cultures, and with life so much more complex today, how much are such advice still applicable?
Well, I think when we read stories of the Buddha's life, his ministry, the work that he did, the people that he met, sometimes I am surprised by how much they are like us. You know, they still have the same problems. They still face the same challenges and difficulties. They still expected the same good things in their life as us. So I think as human beings, what we expect has not changed very much. Human beings still look for happiness. Still want to be happy, and we want to escape, want to avoid unhappiness in our lives. That is the reason why many people come to the religious places, meet with religious people, so that the religion can help them to be happier. There might be things that they don't understand, and they are looking for answers in the religion. So if your affinity towards a certain way of thinking can be found in this religion, then you will be happy there. But there are some people who said, I'm looking for a different kind of answer. I'm looking for a different kind of teachings. So they will leave and go to, find other teachers. But by and large, I think human beings, human society, has not changed that much. The technology that we have surrounded ourselves with has changed. The way that we live life has changed. But we still are subject to the suffering in life. There's no one here who says that they do not grow sick, who do not have illness. There's no one here who says that they have no disappointments. Life is full of pleasure and happiness. My life is wonderful. There is no one who can say this, especially in times like this, when we are faced with a virus that has a potential to kill us, that is spreading faster and faster. So you feel a sense of anxiety, a sense of insecurity. There is still no one today who say, I'm not going to die. We will die. There is death waiting for us somewhere along the line. Maybe earlier, maybe later. Right? Some of my classmates already disappearing. So we have to say that the Buddha's advice is surprisingly, uncannily relevant to us. Because the Buddha knew about the nature of the human mind. He doesn't teach from a vacuum. He taught from his ability to understand human beings, human mind. And because he could understand the human mind, he knew how to give the most suitable answer to that mind. Not all the time, that person accepted the Buddha's answer straight away. Maybe after some reflection, the person accepted the Buddha's teachings. There were some people who were full of ego. The ego, the sense of self, the pride, the arrogance, stopped them from understanding the Buddha's teachings. So they walked away, full of their own sense of importance. I'm very important. I'm so famous. What is this monk, this ascetic Gautama going to teach me? I mix with kings. I mix with prime ministers. He is homeless. He got no home. He wander from place to place. What is he going to teach me? So some people they were thinking like this. That was their way of looking at the Buddha's teachings. But the more we study the Buddha's teachings now, we will see that the understanding about the complexities of what human beings want, is still applicable. The other thing that is important is the Buddha gave us advice on how to purify the mind. And there are steps. There are progressions. So today, if we practice those teachings, we will experience the insight that the Buddha talked about 2,600 years ago. Those have not changed. From the first Sotapanna, which is the Venerable Kondanya, to those who attain Sotapanna today, the experiences are the same. And eventually, Venerable Kondanya became an Arahant. So those people who attain Arahantship today, the experience is still the same. So I would say there is nothing, the circumstances of the human world, of society has changed. But in the way the Buddha answers our questions, our needs in our search for happiness has not changed at all. It's only up to us to know that this advice is the good advice for us. Sometimes, due to our own ignorance, we don't recognize, the depths of the Buddha's teachings. But we must spend the time to learn as much as we can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for the very interesting, informative, very educational, inspirational talk this morning, and also the profound and enlightening answers to our questions. In this morning talk, give us many take-home value, giving us a lot of good tips on how to improve our relationship with our family, friends, etc. To live a harmonious, happy and peaceful life in our family, society, and also in the country. Thank you so much, Brother Siang Chye. On behalf of our devotees, express our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Again, thank you very much, Brother Tan Siang Chye, for the Dhamma sharing the Buddha's advice for leading a harmonious layman's life. Just to recollect, to maintain harmony, we must learn to be mindful and patient. Patience causes us to step back and consider the best way to ensure harmony of the group rather than placing ourselves first. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service, listening to the Dhamma sharing and further understanding with the discussion during the Q&A. With the merits accrued, let us share and transferring the merits to all our living and departed relatives, families and friends, and all beings. Let us share merits to those who have been fallen ill due to the COVID-19. May they have a speedy recovery. Patidana, transference of merits. Akasata Bhummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditwa Chirang Rakantu Lokasasanang Chirang Rakantu Desanang Chirang Rakantu Mangparang Etavata Hamhehi Sambadang Punya Sambadang Sabbe Deva Sabbe Satta Sabbe Bhuta Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imang no punya bagang mata vitunanja acharya nancha sabba satanancha sabba mitanancha sabba nyatinancha sabba petanancha sabba devatanancha bhajema. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema sabbe sata sukita hontu. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hodu yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punya asavakaya vahang hodu. Idang me punya nibbanasa pacayo hodu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang Pujemi, Dhammang Pujemi, Sanghang Pujemi. Sukhi Hontu. To all devotees, thank you very much for participating. Please help me to thank the speaker, Brother Tan Siang Chye, organizing team. We have come to the end of the 43rd online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We'll be taking a break next week. No Buddha Puja service next week. We'll be back on Sunday, 16th of May. Please refer to your Facebook of your society for the information. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you will continue to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well, happy and peaceful always. Sukhi Hontu, goodbye. Sabbe Sata Sukita Hontu.
Jitwa Munindo